Hey, what's up, guys? We're here with a great friend and client of mine, Raymond, and we got another great testimonial. He absolutely crushed it in the program, got amazing results. So I just wanted to bring him on and ask him a couple of quick questions about his experience so you can get a little look behind the curtains of the program and see what it's like on the inside and what he benefited from. So, Raymond, really appreciate you for coming on. So, first question I have for you is tell us a little bit about yourself and what your situation was like before the program. Why do you feel like you needed help? And just give us a little background.
So, hello. I'm an Anglican priest and an elementary school teacher. And what finally got me to actually have the conversation with Neil, I've been following him on Instagram for 18 months beforehand, trying to work up the nerve. But what finally did it was I had a student who was, I have a 12-year-old student who's a little on the pudgier side, and I was making him run laps at recess, and then looking at myself and realizing I wasn't holding myself to the same quality that I needed my students to. And I needed to get to the gym. I needed the accountability. And that was just a huge thing for me of occasional workouts with no one really to keep me motivated. I'd go 1 or 2 weeks, something weird would happen, and I'd lose focus, and I wouldn't go back. So I knew that I needed to talk to someone to get some accountability from a real trainer, and Neil's emphasis, in his standard pitch of 16 to 40 pounds. You ready to do this? And it was like, okay, I am. And actually, I don't know if he remembers this. But this is actually the second time I had reached out. We had started talking. So you and I had our video call in November, late October
Yes.
of 2021. I had sent you a note, like the previous January. I could probably find it in Instagram somewhere, and you texted back, said, "Are you serious?" And I spooked, I let I kind of ghosted you, and it was just whatever, it's part. But it was I was finally ready to have that conversation. So that was where I was in late October, early November, as we were getting started, realizing I was at a point that I needed encouragement, I needed accountability, and I was ready to receive it, in a way that I hadn't been yet because of life circumstances developing in a particular way.
That's great. I love it. And we finally made it. And now look at where you're at, right? That's awesome. So that's great. So you're very serious right now, I can tell you definitely. So that's awesome. Now, going through the program, what would you say are 1, 2, 3 things for you personally that was really the most beneficial to you, that were really the most beneficial to you in terms of getting the results that you have right now, which is like you lost around 30 pounds, right? A little bit plus minus in last 18 weeks, absolutely crushed it. Very consistent as well. So walk us through what would you say were a couple things that benefited you the most in the program?
First, I appreciate that you were able to put together for me a program that would work. We had we had those two introductory calls. You set me up with you asked how many days can you work out, which is a very basic question, but at the same time, the program that you gave me felt very doable. Even on the weeks that well, then that leads me in the next thing. The second thing was realizing the flexibility, realizing, okay, I didn't quite get all my volume in Monday or Thursday. I can go to the gym on Saturday, which isn't a regular scheduled workout day. On a Saturday I have off, go in and make that up, and all of a sudden realize that I'm not stuck. And then the third big thing I mentioned in the first question, hitting a wall or something happened, and then I don't go to the gym for 2 months. Thanksgiving, I came down with I don't even know what it was, but I collapsed in the middle of the day with some sort of stomach bug, and couldn't get to the gym for 5 days. And ordinarily, that would have been the end of me going to the gym for 6 months. But Neil was able to talk me through. I don't know with the interview. Do I talk about you in the third person, the second person?
Either way, man. Either way.
Was able to talk me through. Okay, take a break, go back when you're ready, and you should be ready about now. And then that in November, that was Thanksgiving Day that I collapsed, and I don't know, it was a weird thing. And then Christmas, I injured myself, had a cooking accident, and Neil helped me figure out a way to work around my arm being messed up. And here we are. Starting in November, I've got goals. You asked me what my goals were, and I kind of had some sense of what my goals were. But to be able to concretely say in January, hey, it's beginning of the new year, this is a New Year resolution time, to be able to say, okay, my goals for 2022 are weigh 200 pounds, 3 major lifts at 250. That was a clarity that I did not have at the beginning of November. But through working the program and actually figuring out what are my capabilities, what am I interested in doing, that was a huge being able to say it to myself and then say it to a trainer and have him discuss, okay, that seems feasible, if you do this, this, and this, or that doesn't seem feasible if you do this and this, and being able to talk through that. So that here we are, middle of March. I'm making progress towards my goals. I'm going to be able to hit them in 2022, and I don't know, maybe go beyond where I thought possible.
Right.
I guess, and this really should maybe go into the first thing. Realizing where I am now, middle of March, where I was beginning November, what I now think is possible for my physical health, and beyond just baseline health, but physique and physical prowess and visual integrity or whatever. I now think so much more is possible for me in November than I did in November. I thought I was all but doomed to be, slightly tubby the rest of my life. And realizing now that, maybe not. Maybe I can gain muscle. Maybe I can lose body fat, even having just crossed into my 30s. So that's been a huge realization, a huge glory, to be able to realize that things can be so much further.
Yes, right. It's like once you get results, and I always say like predictability, sustainability, and flexibility, right? Once you have predictability, you first of all see what's possible, and it pulls you, and it all of a sudden opens up so many possibilities of like, hey, I really love that stuff. I really love to achieve those goals. And because you see what's possible if you're just staying consistent with it. And what you also nailed on the head basically is like, also I say you have to learn how to be flexible, because exactly what happens to a lot of people, something happens, right? What happens with your hand or with Thanksgiving, and then they fall off track, right? Because they don't learn, okay, you actually don't, it actually doesn't destroy your progress if you don't work out for 5 days. If you handle it correctly, like literally nothing happened. But a lot of people make such a big deal out of it that it basically becomes the thing that destroys them. So at the end of the day, again, right, you gotta, if you learn how to be flexible, then you can stay on it forever and you can continuously crush it. So we had to pause really quick. So yeah, just learning how to be flexible. So exactly, so that's very good. So basically you got the clarity on what's actually possible, because a lot of people don't think that they can actually lose weight, or that they can lose weight so consistently, and all they're going for is always the short burst of, I want to lose 50 pounds so quick, but they never really grasp on what's possible if they have a routine that they can really stay consistent with for multiple years, on how great they can actually look like, and that it's a lot easier than they think it is, right? It's not easy like you sit on the couch and eat Twinkies all day and do nothing, like easy, but if you're more efficient, it's a lot easier than a lot of people think at the end of the day. So that's it. Great. I love it. So next question I have for you is, tell us a little bit about specifically the results that you had right now from the program.
Well, let's see. What are some delicate ways of expressing this? So, I mean, I thought of specific results in terms of physique is I can see some definition in my arm. I can see some muscle mass in my arms that wasn't there before. It was just, rather than having, I'm certainly not you, but at the same time, to go from having, lumps of flesh on my arm to being able to tell the difference between my bicep and my tricep when I'm doing a lateral raise. Like the first day I saw that, and the side of my arm went from being round during a lift to being flat. That was an incredible day. My chest definition, rather than being, again, I'm not trying to be gross, but rather than being floppy and round, it's floppy and square, which is eventually going to be square and not so floppy. That's a huge improvement. I've always been, for the longest time, when I was a kid, I would walk around with my chest stuck out, and I'd sort of lost that posture. But now I feel like my posture's improved because my musculature is better, and I'm not, my posture is not performative. It's who I am. It's the body that I have that fits the posture. And also, I'll think about, my calves have always been thick because I walk a little bit heavy, but now they're not just thick from walking. Strangely, they're thick from actual strength that can actually do things. And I feel like I can actually use my body rather than just kind of being a brain floating around in a body. But that my whole, and again, to sum some of that up, my whole mind body connection is stronger than it ever has been, which motivates me further into developing myself physically, and setting further and further goals, and seeing how long I can contain it. This is the body that I intend. I'm going to be 70 and be strong, and that's what I've always wanted. Didn't have a clue how to start. Was getting to the point where that wasn't going to be a possibility, and now it is more than a possibility.
Clear, right? Clear is gonna happen because you
Right.
have the path laid out. Now you're the perfect example of that whole transformation of what we're trying to do here, right? And what's like working very good, especially with you, is like getting you from, okay, I don't even know if that's possible for me. I don't think that I'm ever gonna be in shape for life, right? It's like always yo to like, oh, now I have the clarity. I realize how easy it is if you really learn it the right way. Falling in love with the process and progress you make, and now, first of all, in terms of systems, being able to make it work for you, but also emotionally in terms of the person you're becoming, that's basically automatically doing it and is drawing joy out of working out and eating correctly, instead of looking at it as a dread and with guilt and shame and all of those wrong things that a lot of people a lot of people put on this industry, right? So that's very good, man. I'm super happy to see that. Now, that said, so last question for you is, we were in contact 2 times, right? First time it was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of scared off, and then second time we did 2 calls together. And I know you've been on the fence on our call in our call in November, right? And you've been like, oh, I'm not sure if I should do this, if I shouldn't do it. And we were basically going back and forth at the end of the call for like 15-20 minutes. Now you've been on the fence and you did it. Now I've got a lot of people that I talk to that are on the fence, right? They're not sure if they should do it, they shouldn't do it. So question to you, if a person is on the fence, they really want to do it, they want to crush it, but they're kind of like, oh, I'm not sure if this is the right thing, I'm not sure about this Neil guy, or should I do it, can I do it? As a person who's been through the whole process, what would you tell a person like that who's on the fence, kind of scared, but who've been through it?
I mean, that there's it's easy to fall into platitudes, but at some level, you're going to have to do it. Are you going to pay it? What really the big sticking point for me was price, realizing how much cash on the barrelhead it was. And suddenly I had this realization, and finally came down to, are you going to pay Neil now, or are you going to pay 10, 20, 30 times that 40 years from now? You know, that's your choice. It's either pay it up front now and enjoy being strong in your 30s, enjoy looking good in your 30s, and maybe save yourself the money long term, and probably save yourself the long term, but you get a whole lot more pleasure out of it in the middle. Or you can flop along, and be mad at yourself for not taking the step forward, and be mad at yourself for looking a certain way, having a certain weakness, and never get the, you know, so you can do the work and achieve the results, or you cannot do the work and regress. Choose the results, choose the progress. That's a little bit more
yeah, nothing to add here, right? I also invested a lot into different coaches and things I needed, and it's like, not making a decision is also making a decision at the end of the day, right? It's like the decision is made for you, basically. Now I agree on that. It's like the same experience that I had with a lot of coaches that I work with that really helped me a lot. So I love it, man. I have nothing to add to that. Definitely have nothing to add to that. So I appreciate you for crushing it that much. I appreciate you for coming on, right? And I'm super excited to where your journey is gonna lead to. It's only gonna get up from here because the habits are in check, the system is in check, and you can also be very confident that it's gonna continue to be that great and give you that results because you've got all you need, right? So appreciate you for coming on again. For everybody who's watching, if you want to schedule a free call where we go over everything, we see, okay, what are your goals right now? What's the struggle? Put a strategy in place for you from A to C. And then at the end, we can just see, is it a good fit working together? Is it not a fit? Either way is cool with me because at the end of the day, I already helped you. If you see this on Instagram or Facebook, shoot me a message saying 40 pounds, and then we're going to set something up from there. Or you go ahead, you see this on the website around this video here somewhere is a link where you can schedule yourself your free discovery call. So go ahead and do that. Absolutely no pressure, right? Just seeing what's the best for you. And then at the end of the day, just seeing if it works out or not. And other than that, again, Raymond, thank you for coming on, and let's keep crushing it, and we're out.
All right. Thank you, Neil.